Christ was a master manifestator who always had immediate results. How can I become like this?
So we'll talk about it like this. Oftentimes when Christ would perform his miracles, it would be in total alignment with what you would call divine will. So the miracles Christ performed were not out of personal desire. When you are attempting to manifest something for the small self out of personal desire, oftentimes it will take longer because the signal that you're broadcasting is not as powerful. The signal of the small self, the signal of ego, while it does have a broadcast range, it's lesser than the broadcast range of what you would call the God self, the source self. So he would manifest from that place. So the ripple effect would penetrate through all layers and levels of reality. And because of this, and because of Christ's spiritual integration on every layer and level of reality, the shift, the change would be instantaneous. So a great deal of it has to do with the nature of the manifestations, the motivational place they were coming from. That's a big portion. But the other portion, again, has to do with the fact that Christ energetically integrated himself on all of these layers and levels. So even though you see a Christ on the physical, it was almost like Christ made copies of himself. There was also a Christ on the astral, a Christ on the mental, a Christ on the spiritual layers and levels of realities. So when he would do something in the physical, these energetic copies of himself, let's just say, would do the same task on every layer and level of reality, creating a sort of pillar that would allow for the manifestation to instantly descend downwards like a bolt of lightning from the spirit level into the mental level, into the astral level, into the physical level. So these are some of the reasons why he had such success in his manifestational processes and practices. Remember, a great deal of Christ's power came from language. Christ would issue verbal commands. You're aware of this? He would tell crippled people to walk. He would tell the blind to see. He would cast negative energies out. If you pay attention to many of Christ's miracles, his voice is involved in many of them. So this also has to do with the language he was speaking and the words of power, the divine, you could say, names that he would vibrate and utter that would also assist him in this instantaneous manifestational effect. So these are some things to look into. Because when you are speaking from a place of power, your words become a vehicle for that power. This is one of the reasons why when the channel before you is channeling us, his voice changes, because this type of voice, this manner of speaking is more capable of projecting subtle frequencies of energy that then create changes in your physical reality. That's one of the reasons the channel speaks like this when we come through. It's a very easy way to project a great deal of subtle energies into your physical spaces, which then transform the physical spaces through the creation of the bubble reality. So that's one thing to pay attention to, the quality of your voice, the quality of how you're speaking. But the other thing to pay attention to is what you would consider to be the Kabbalistic or Hebrew phrases or words or names of power. These were oftentimes utilized by Christ to create some of these instant changes. So for deepening your understanding of this, it is important to study what is sometimes called Kabbalah, what is sometimes called the Tree of Life. When you understand the different names and the powers they're connected to, and you understand how to activate your voice of power, you can begin to make similar commands. So we're giving you breadcrumbs here. Really what we're describing is an entire lifetime of study and practice, but you'll find a great deal of value and openings from what we have shared informationally.